Hello everyone, welcome back to A City Planner Plays City Builders. We are playing City Skylines and building the city of Bluffside Crossing, and right now I wanted to show you a quick view of the improvements I've made to the multi-use path connecting the park and ride to Hillcrest. And I left this a little bit bumpy. It's a recreational facility. The utilitarian use would be the gondola that gets pedestrians up and down from the university area to the park and ride, but this would be an excellent facility, having views of of downtown, of the tourism district, and I thought it'd be neat to show you the improvements I've made. I added some trees, leveled it out, and added some fencing along the cliff. But we can be done with that for the time being. Because today, what I'd like to do is start laying the foundation for having all of our industry areas built. I do have the Cities Skylines Industries DLC, and we've built the forestry industry, we've built the oil industry, and now I'd like to build the ore industry. We have ore and agriculture. So I scoped out some land before the video, and it looks like the places where we could build would be Hillcrest, so that's not going to happen. Mount Hood, we're not going to do that. We don't want to have our ore processing facility near Mount Hood. And another area that I thought was really, really good was this hillside. And the reasons that I like this area are, first, it's close to the other industries. Second, it has a rail access. And third, it has direct connections to a major collector, an arterial, and a highway. So I think that this could be a really good area for our ore mining operation. And what I was thinking would be interesting would be to actually have an open pit mine right here. So I think that that's what we're going to do. We're going to need to do some terraforming, but that wouldn't be out of the normal for this type of operation. So I do want to go deep enough that I can blend this into the hillside a little bit. We're going to have multiple levels. We need it to be big enough to fit our largest mining equipment. So let's take a look at that real quick. So we'll go look at our largest mining equipment would be this large ore miner. So we know we want our pit to be bigger than this significantly, because we're going to go down multiple levels. So let's flatten the terrain. So we'll make a flat top, and then we'll just take it down a level. Whoa, not that many levels. Maybe just like, oh, not down, not up either, down. Okay. You know what? I think we could even be a little more gentle than that. Okay. So we'll take it down and we'll kind of just loop around. And we'll continue to do this a few levels. I'm thinking maybe 4 or 5. And we're going to need to be aware of, let's do it top down. We're going to need to be aware of the amount of space that's in the center. We're also going to want to leave enough space to place our industries buildings. So lots of different things to think about here. So let's give ourselves enough space to operate. So this is an interesting project in my mind because I actually just dealt with one of these. An open pit mine for construction material that would be used to build new homes and roads, and highly controversial. All communities are trying to be more sustainable, green communities, if you would. And part of that, you'd think that mining in your community is a bad idea then. How could a mining operation benefit sustainability? Well, all the crushed aggregate and different things that you need for construction projects you can't get away with just not using it. You're going to have to use it. So the question at that point is, where are you getting it from? Are you getting it from somewhere nearby? Are you getting it from somewhere miles and miles away where you have to bring it in by train or bring it in by truck? Those vehicles are not very fuel efficient. And when you start thinking about it, it might make more sense to have those operations right in your community. But they're noisy. In some cases, they have blasting, and the one that was being proposed certainly did have blasting. And it was controversial. And ultimately, it received a neutral recommendation because it was in an adjoining municipality. So we'll see where that goes. But I thought it was very interesting. I thought the process it went as well as it could in light of what it was. So I've made the pit, and now I'm going to get a road over to the pit. And I could come over here and take it off from this highway. I think I want to redo this highway. I didn't have the terrain mod when I built it reasonably. Probably should have cut diagonally across and followed one of these contours into that roundabout. So I'm not going to go into that one right now because I know that that's going to change. Clearly not going to just go onto the freeway like that and go straight up. Probably challenging to get from this collector all the way up here. So what I'm thinking is joining right over here and following a contour to actually make a connection with the mine. Now, I know this is going to sound kind of maybe ironic a little bit, considering I'm now saying, you follow the landscape, use the landscape. Don't abuse the landscape. But that's what I want to do now, is I want to follow contours to get into the mine, even though we did a whole bunch of terraforming. At this point, we're kind of done with most of it. And I want to be a little more respectful of the land, if at all possible. So that's what I'm going to do. Just try to make sure that what we're doing matches the landscape, and I think it'll help it look a lot more natural. So I have the beginnings of the road into here, but I haven't placed the district yet, so you need to go in and paint an industry area. And so I'll get that painted. And I'm going to go a little bit further than you might imagine. And part of the reason for that is we have the worker barracks, and I want to make sure that those are within the industry area. Okay, so now we can start looking at our buildings. So first, before you can start, you need the main office building. So we'll get that placed. And then we can get some workers' barracks set up. And now you'll see that there's this little area that's a little bit lower. I think this would be an excellent location for the barracks. So we'll place a few of those. And then let's start getting our road down to the mines. So again, I want to be respectful of the landscape, but at the same time understand that we're going to have to get down. We're probably going to have to do a little bit more terraforming as we lay some of our industry specific buildings. We don't necessarily need to do that now. Oh. So I'm going to make this a little bit circuitous so that there's multiple ways in and out. Otherwise, this is a big cul-de-sac. So now we can take these roads and we'll make them dirt roads as well. Oh. Again, just kind of follow the landscape. And then we'll go diagonally to get to the next level. But still continue to loop around up here. And I try wherever I can to meet at 90s so that the game logic works a little better. You get traffic backups if you don't meet at 90s. Okay, and down to our main pit level. Still, let's continue our loop. It's not quite a 90, but it's close. And then let's have our main road that our main mining equipment will be located off from. So, okay, let's see if I have sized it appropriately. And it is darn close. We'll probably play with this a little bit to make it work a little better. Actually, you know what? That turned out okay. I'm okay with that. I think maybe I could... I'm going to get real picky. I think that improves it a little bit. But I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. Now, I wanted to leave a little bit of space over here because that's a lot of unused space that could be utilized for other mining equipment. So let's see what else we have. So we have a number of buildings. So we have an ore industry maintenance building. So we'll probably want to get that, you know, kind of close to some of our other main buildings. So maybe we'll put that up there. We have a small, medium, and a large ore mine. We also have underground mines of different sizes. We have a seabed mining vessel. We're not going to use that. Our grinding mill, which we need to actually process the raw ore. And then a number of processing factories. So we have a glass plant, metal kiln, and then a fiberglass plant. And then we also have sand storage, ore storage, a building to store ore, raw mineral storage. So I guess we can use either of these two buildings to store the raw material. So just things to be cognizant of before we start plopping. So let's see if we can get a medium mine in. And then maybe a small one as well. I want to make sure that we have enough so that we're getting enough materials, knowing that we're going to want to produce multiple different types of materials. So that's why I'm placing multiple different mines. Now let's go back and do a little bit more terraforming. Not overly concerned if these are very sharp. You'll see that often, that the cliffs are really dug into with some sharp, steep edges. So it actually will make it look a little more natural to what a mining operation will look like if the edges are that steep. And we'll smooth it by the road a little bit. Now I want to drop this road down to make it even with... Oh, I'm not sure that I like what just happened. I want this road to be even with our equipment, be flat. Okay, that's looking good. So now we need to look at all of our support equipment. So we have our grinding mill. We're probably going to want a few of these. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different mines. So let's see. We might have to place these near the top. And I want to give enough room for our storage facilities as well. So these are huge. Let's see. This is also quite large. Place one of those and we will terraform around these later. Oh. So let's see. I'm going to get rid of those. Let's stick with our main large storage facilities. You can see all this stuff is very expensive. But it's very, very necessary. Let's have mirror it on either side. Let's terraform to make these look a little more natural. And we can smooth things out along the way. Whoa, I'll get my strength way up there. Felt like it was going really fast, and that's because it was. Okay. So we've got that. So now we have our raw material processing. But we still need our glass, metal, and fiberglass plants, and then storage for the raw materials. So we're going to try to just start out with one of each of these. Oh, these are very, very large. So I might actually just build another road out to this plant. Let's get our snapping back on. Okay, and then we have one more, which is our fiberglass plant. Let's see what size this is. And we can actually sneak this inside. So I think we're going to do that. We also need our ore storage. So, let's see. Might move this building. We can do a little bit of terraforming to clean that up. So I just want to make sure that we have enough space for this. Okay, so let's do some terraforming to clean some things up. Okay. I'm liking the way that this is turning out. So we'll extend the land over here a little bit. Terraform to clean things up. We have this over here that we moved. So like I mentioned, a lot of steep cliffs generally with these mining operations. So I'm going to steepen some of these cliffs. Might as well. It will make it look more authentic in the long run. All right. And then let's do a little bit of smoothing on the edges here next to our plants that we built. All right. I think even along this road we can do a little bit. All right, I think... Ooh, that road's a little bit ugly. Don't know how I feel about that, so let's just bump this out just a just a smidge. But that will make it look a little better. I think it did. So let's turn off our contours. All right, I like the way that looks. I really, really do. So that's good. Now, another thing I guess to be cognizant of is a lot of times in these mining operations, you'll see that in areas where they haven't done a lot of work, you'll see some, or where work isn't actively occurring, you'll see some foliage start to pop up. So, obviously we don't want, flowers or anything like that. Well, that might be in the detailing episode at a later date. Let's just get this functioning for now. So we need water. So let's turn our snapping off so we could follow our roads to get out there. This would be an absolutely challenging road to actually get water down on the side of a hill, very curvy. Water pipes, as you can imagine, you can't just curve them. That's not the way that pipes are designed. So you end up with lots of angles. And working with the guys that have to do these calculations, I know that they would be very unhappy with this, except knowing that all of this would be private infrastructure, so they wouldn't really be their problem. So I want to make sure that all of our buildings are covered, but it doesn't necessarily need to be the entire district that's covered. So I think I'm probably going to look at the ways down and try to find the shortest path. And honestly, there's not really a short path when you have this many curves. Okay, but all of our buildings are now, at least in part, covered. And now we need to get power over to these facilities. Unfortunately, the spacing means that we're going to need a couple power lines within here, unless we do some spot zoning inside to get the connections made. And we could do that, but it's an industrial area, so I'm not overly concerned about there being power lines present. I think that would be pretty anticipated. I'll try my best to follow the road here. Again, kind of struggling with that a little bit. All right, power and water to our operations. So I'm gonna let this run for just a little bit. And what I want to do is also take a look at our rail connection here and try to make this connection to this other industry area. And this could be the area in the future where we have factories potentially. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just get things working over here. So I am going to pause it for a quick second while I eliminate this road. Okay. So we're going to come in at a 90 and then we're going to follow the contours. When we cut up, I don't want to cut too severely. Because that's what we were doing last time. It's just the cut was a little severe in my mind. There's no problem going down a little bit, but we don't want to go down a lot. Oh. Maybe we're gonna need to give this a couple attempts. There's a larger grade change there than you would anticipate. So I'll try to cut across these over a kind of a longer stretch of road. Some of this is still pretty steep, but it's significantly less steep than it was. So I'm happier with it. Let's see if we can do anything to make it better. So you'd kind of expect some earthwork to occur with a project like this, so not out of the question to see some movement like that. So we've got that work done. Now I want to make a connection between this district and this road. So I'm probably going to make that a highway connection. Just a good old 2-lane highway. And let's get our contours back on, because again, we want to respect the geography in this area as best we can. Part of that is just, if we want it to look even remotely realistic, respecting that geography is the way that we're going to accomplish that. Okay, so we can cut across here. That's a pretty tame slope. And let's see where we can meet up. To be able to meet up with this road, we're going to have to either come way around or start climbing. And probably a good way of accomplishing that is not to start dropping down, because that's what I was about to start doing. At this point, I just kind of want a 90-degree connection. So that's why I wasn't connecting before. Okay, so let's try to fix this. Sometimes when you use the normal road tools, it gives you options that you don't normally have. Unfortunately, in this particular situation, that wasn't the reason why I was having issues. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that and see if I can have a little bit gentler of a slope. That is pretty extreme, but still okay. I think we can make it work. The reason I'm putting that here is I want to create a highly necessary facility right here. And that is, we're going to want a cargo facility here. Now we're probably going to want to grade separate this in the future. For the time being, I will probably just leave it as is. And again, we're going to have our water issue getting over here. Ah, that's ugly. Let's fix that. I don't know that that's much better, but it's a little better, I think. maybe just a little bit. So let's get that water over here. Then power. So again, I think I'm going to try to follow that road. Maybe we'll cut across the road when we get a little bit closer. Come right to the back. Now, I like to throw a cul-de-sac bulb on these for turnarounds. So I'll use a one-way road. And then throw a quick cul-de-sac on the end. Whoops, and I did not use the road that I anticipated I would use. So let's upgrade that. Okay, so now people can go around, or now trucks can go around that. I think I want to get this to line up a little bit more with the height of the building though. Make sure that that's all flat. Looks good now. All right. So we've got that facility all set. Let's drop our tracks a little bit to make it look a little more natural. All right, I like that a lot more already. Okay, much happier with how that looks. You know, I might just go ahead and grade separate this right away because I know that that's going to be a problem. So I think in an ideal world, the train track would be going over at the expense of the train company. But we don't live in an ideal world all the time. And this will be an example of a non-ideal world where the city is unfortunately bearing the cost of this overpass. But it's to the great benefit of the city, so we'll deal with it. All right, so that is a terrible name, Glade Reef. Let's see. Smith Brothers Ores. If you guys have a better name for this, let's drop that in the comments. And Smith Brothers Ores. Can we keep the name this time? All right. So there are different policies that you can have: improved logistics, 20% upkeep of industrial buildings, increased production. You know what? Let's let this operate first and see how it's working. Right now, we're making some money, and we're doing really well from a financial standpoint. And I think a lot of that has to do with this new operation that we have. So there's certainly some things we could do to clean this up. I'd like to get some greenery in here, but I'm really pleased with how it turned out. Let's take a look before we end the video. And that is our ore operation. Again, we have each of the different facilities. Got workers. The next thing I think I would do would be to look at the number of workers that each of these facilities has. I can tell already that we don't have enough barracks. I mean, this fiberglass plant alone has 85 workers. This one has 65, 45. So we might want to throw in some more barracks. We also have a garbage issue already at the main ore industry building. So certainly some things to improve. Another big thing to improve is probably this intersection, which did not come in at a 90. But those are all future things to deal with. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really thank you for watching. It means a lot to me, and it makes this a lot more fun for me. Let me know what you thought about this build down in the comments. If you liked the video, please consider liking it. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell if you want to know when I release new videos. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye, everyone.